This is the show where I help high-achieving women push their limits, dominate their mindset, and take actions towards their goals. It's about to get real, so buckle up and brace for impact. My name is Ashleigh Mayfield, and I am the high-achieving woman. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We are going to dive right in today. One of the questions that I get asked a lot is about my ability to lead people effectively while being honest. Now, if you're OG, I have done a podcast. If you scroll back, it was with Fireball with Ashleigh Mayfield, and it's kind of about the finesse, not necessarily balance, because I hate that word, but the finesse between leadership and friendship. But that's not really the idea that I'm hinting on. But if that's what you need, you can scroll back and find that episode. I firmly believe that a lot of people show up to relationships, business partnerships, and even leadership without a clear idea of how to be honest, because they don't know how to be honest with themselves. One lesson that I have had to learn over the last few years, and will probably be growing in until the day that I die, is in the lesson of honesty. I will struggle extremely because, number one, I was embarrassed a lot growing up, so I really don't like to embarrass people. I don't like to make people feel bad. There really is, as aggressive and direct and type A and dominant as I am, I really am a recovering people pleaser, guys, and I've had to really work through that and grow through that. But internally, there is also a very real lazy Ashleigh that lives there. And if I'm not careful, she will immerse and she will take the easy road every time that she gets. But I really do value honesty. It's something that's probably top 3 for me. Even my kids will tell you that I value honesty. And I personally feel like in my leadership, in my business, and in my life, I can handle a lot as long as you're honest. You might make me cry. I might even be disappointed in myself. You know what I mean? But honesty, I hold very near and dear to my heart. And years ago, when I started my journey of personal development, I had discovered and adopted the philosophy of extreme ownership mentality. And that's basically where everything rises and falls on me. I take extreme control of how I handle and respond to situations in my life. And I do my best to live up to that responsibility of taking ownership and not casting blame. There is an amazing book by Jocko Willink called Extreme Ownership. If you've never read it, I highly recommend that you do. And it was his idea that drastically shifted my mindset. Sometimes I agree that, there's a difference to me between taking ownership and responsibility for things, but the idea of extreme ownership has been something that I've grown drastically in, and it has absolutely changed my life. And I'm very proud of who I am today. I'm very proud of the progress in that. With all of that being said, though, when you start working on your own ability to be honest, paired with strong intuitive skills, you start seeing and sensing the dishonesty in other people. And your inability to be honest with yourself hinders you in a couple different ways. So let's talk about it. First, I think that your inability to be honest with yourself, it hinders your effectiveness. A lot of times we make decisions, or we can make decisions, based on like wrong motives. We can exaggerate our results. We can try to justify why we're not doing the things that need to be done. That is all a byproduct of dishonesty. It's also easy to see the wrong in others, because you're judging people. We typically judge others based on their actions while we are judging ourselves based on our intentions. Isn't that interesting? And so your inability to be honest can actually give you a skewed vision and a skewed perspective of yourself. It also hinders you from leading others effectively, because you will not be able to identify the bullcrap in other people if you can't identify it in yourself. And it will be easy for you to hesitate to call others higher and to set the bar, because it will expose something on the inside of you because you failed to do it within yourself. And you can also, on the other side, I feel like your inability to be honest with yourself, you're going to overextend your authority based on title and position. And I've actually had to lead people through that who thought they were better than what they were just because, you know, they got a title and they had a little bit of clout. They thought their crap don't stink. You know, we've all known someone like that, right? It's like an over glorified key holder. As a former retail manager, those supervisors they're like one step above a cashier. They get like the opening key. They've never opened the store and closed the store on their own, but like they just get the key to the office. And now they think that they're somebody, you know what I mean? And so your inability to be honest with yourself, it can have you in positions where you're overextending yourself and you think that you're better than you are. And when you start operating in that level where you've gone to the point where you think you're better, or, you want to just like, you value authority so much, but you don't value leading and setting the example, which is a part of true leadership, people are going to start seeing you for the fraud that you are. If you're not living up to the standards yourself and you're living up to the line, but you're trying to hold other people accountable to that. And there are levels of leadership where people do that, right? Low functioning leaders, they're demanding things from other people. They're demanding actions from people that they will not take. And they're demanding results from people that they do not have. And it's just it's not a good place to be as a high achieving woman, but also just someone who values leadership. Like, you don't want to live in a space like that, because people are going to start seeing you for the fraud that you are. And you can have all of the competency, you can have all the charisma, but if you don't have that character there, it truly is going to bite you in the butt. And I have seen that ship crash and burn more times than I desire, where, when someone has a skewed perspective. Leadership is not about perfectionism. It's really not. But it is about being honest, because when you're an honest leader, you've got the ability, I'm trying to choose my words wisely here. You've got the ability to let people know who you are and who you're not, and you don't have to be fake about it. You see, I've seen a lot of times where leaders try to mask who they really are. And through my own leadership, I've had to learn how to be honest and say, hey, that's not my strength, or hey, I'm working on that. Hey, I'm not that developed in that area. And sometimes the answer is, hey, I don't think that's an issue right now. How many times have we gone through seasons in our life where when I was a lower level leader, I had an issue in a certain area of my life, like my preparation. Okay. I made it through climbed very successful mountains. And it wasn't until year 4 that God developed the ability to prepare myself and set myself up for success better. Prior to that, was it an issue? It absolutely was, but it wasn't an issue that I had to cross that bridge yet, right? But when you have a level of honesty with you, people are going to know what to expect and what not to expect. And so if you really want to lead people effectively, you've got to learn to be honest, right? With yourself first, therefore you can be honest with other people. And also, your inability to be honest with you, it will 1000% rob you of opportunities. High achieving women value, enjoy, and thrive being around other high achievers, period, point blank. And if you don't understand how to be honest, people aren't going to want to be around you. Okay. I want to be around women that are honest, women that know how to hold themselves accountable. This is one of those areas that like you can run, but baby, you cannot hide. And the world really doesn't offer grace. This cancel culture that we live in, if people find out that you're dishonest, they will literally tear you up and eat you alive, right? And so it's so important that you're tackling those skeletons in your closet. It's best to start by doing that first, right? But also in your journey of leadership, if you don't want opportunities robbed from you, you've got to be really clear on who you are and who you're not. And you've got to be honest about both, okay? It's not about being all things to all people. I think that whenever we step into a leadership position, we have this like fear of people finding out who we are. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not as good as people think I am. I'm not as good. Yeah, that's the law of momentum. Momentum will exaggerate your results. And so it will appear that you're a lot better than where you are. I often get asked to speak for different businesses or into different teams to try to raise the bar. And one thing that I'm really quick at when I'm opening, always in like my opening spiel, is to let people know, do not put me on a pedestal. I'm going to appear just because I'm confident, I'm direct. I will have you like pissed off, laughing and crying in the same freaking sentence. Like just because I've got charisma and I'm not, because I'm an effective communicator, that it is going to appear that I have something that you don't, that I am better than you or I am higher than you. I'm not saying that because I think I'm arrogant. I'm saying that because that is a fact. That is how it's going to come across. But I need you to know there is nothing on the inside of me that is not on the inside of you. And I repeat that phrase over and over and over. There is nothing greater on the inside of me that's not on the inside of you, okay? And so it's just really, really important that you make sure that you're able to identify who you are and who you're not, because that is going to help you be effective, and it's also going to help you grow. And I kind of just want to walk you through some examples of that. First of all, you just have to know, before I even dive in, your growth is a journey. Okay. We all know that. That's like entry level stuff, right? Each new level that you arrive at will be a new level of discovery, a new level of honesty, a new level of stuff that you've got to improve. And the coolest thing about growth that I like is that it's never ending. I remember when me and Jason first got married and we were in full-time ministry. And we bounced around from a couple different churches. He went through, and he still goes in this phase from time to time, but he became a Trekkie. He became a Star Trekkie. Okay, Star Trekkie. He became a Trekkie, and he started watching Star Trek. And he was like, it's just never ending. Like, it's never ending information. It's never ending show. It just keeps going and going and going, and he valued that. And for me, that's what I value about growth. Like, there's always another level. You've never arrived. It's not about perfectionism. It's always about improving until the day you die. You've got things that you can tackle. And so I want to give you just like some real raw examples of two things that have happened recently in my life. And for some of you listening, I'm talking about you, but I love you. And, it's not a shock. I lead, mentor, and coach women in an online business. And, one thing that we did is we decided to come into the month with, like a Telegram account. That way we can like boost each other's content. If you're, in business or you're wanting to make an impact online, we all know that each different platform has algorithms, and they don't really make it easy for you nowadays. It's not as easy as it was like years ago, right? Even like a year ago. Things are constantly changing in the online world, which is totally fine. So we decided to create this almost like an engagement chat, if you will, that we could drop our content in, whatever it is. And, whether it's just about your day, your life, your business, your opportunity, whatever it is. And we decided to help each other out once or twice a day by boosting that content. And it was something that I was excited about. I think that this concept is not foreign to anybody who is in the online space, right? Whether you're in an online business or you're just making an impact or you're just wanting to build a credible brand. We all know that we need likes, comments, shares, like that's a given, right? So, I'd been a part of so many of these, so I decided to put something together. And what I noticed very rapidly, like within a 48-hour period, is there were 21 business owners that joined this Telegram chat that I created. But there was only 7 to 8 of us that started using it. And here we are 3 weeks later, and the numbers haven't changed, okay? And, it's easy to sit back and it's easy to say, like, maybe life happened. Maybe people opted in and then forgot about it. Like maybe it was like a new app for them and they, didn't open it or didn't turn on notifications. I don't know what the heck's going on. Maybe someone just overcommitted and like, how the heck do I know what they're thinking or what they're going through? Okay. And I honestly don't even care. But for the full purpose and intent of this episode on the podcast, what did this example show me? 21 people added to a group, only 7 or 8 use it. It showed me that people are not honest with themselves. Isn't that interesting? We have too many women that aspire to be great in their life, that say yes to things, not because they truly want to be a part, not because they have value to offer, but because they don't want to be left out. Isn't that interesting? I want to say that again. We have so many high achieving women who have no business saying yes to things, but they say yes to things, knowing that they don't want to be a part, knowing that they have no value to offer, but it's because they don't want to be left out. And I can tell you, there is nothing more annoying than that. There is nothing more annoying for someone to say yes to something just because they don't want to be left out, right? Can we all agree on that? How many of us are taking on burdens or tasks or responsibilities, not because we're called to them, not because we're walking in our calling or in our purpose, but because we don't want to be left out. We don't want to not feel important. We don't want to not be in the room. We don't want to not sit at the table. That, my friend, is the definition of ego right there. I've said it before, ego is not going after more. Ego is not having more income. Ego is not being able to make a bigger impact, be on a bigger stage, have more recognition. That is not ego. Ego is playing small. Ego is thinking you've got to be all things to all people. Ego is not knowing yourself, right? And if you're not careful, your ego is going to have you so overwhelmed because you have to feel important, because you have to look important, because your appearance matters, because you've got to be included, because you're so wrapped up in popularity and you don't know how to say no because you're in fear of judgment. That junk is ego. And those things matter. Don't get it wrong. Like, I think we throw around the phrase, what's that phrase we throw around? I can't even think of it now. Oh, don't worry about anyone's opinion. Oh, don't worry about anyone's opinion. Just live your life. No, we do need to worry about people's opinion. Okay. I wouldn't have made, $1 million in the last 4 years doing business if I said I didn't care about people's opinion. I vastly care about people's opinion. I don't live and die on them. Right? But you gotta know whose opinion matters and whose doesn't. So if you're not careful, these things are important. Being included, your appearance, not having people judge you incorrectly. Like, these things matter, but we don't live and die on them. Okay. We just need to keep them in check. And we truly need to have like a whole foundation, a whole army of emotionally mature, high achieving women that rise up, that know what tables to sit at and what tables not to. And I can tell you this is an area that I have improved so much in the last 3 years. 3 years ago, in 2019, and I've alluded to this in previous episodes, that I had a huge accomplishment in one of my businesses that I run. And I felt like I was high on the hog, because I was. Let's be honest, I was. And I was having the time of my life, and I really wanted to be in the spotlight. It felt good. And I valued being used. I valued knowing that I had value to offer. I valued that I knew I was making a difference and I was using my gift. But the problem was I wasn't being honest with myself. I had so many opportunities, and the idea of saying no wasn't not even in my radar, because why would I, right? Why would I not want to be invited to sit at the table? My inability to say no to things I had going on in business hurt me so great. It hurt me. And not because I wasn't qualified, not because it wasn't my strength, not because I wasn't the best candidate or anything, but some people were just using my gift. And I couldn't see through that because I didn't even have parameters on my gift. I didn't have boundaries, and boundaries are so freaking healthy. We've got to protect ourselves from ourselves sometimes, especially when you are in momentum. Especially when you are seeing the fruit of your labor. A lot of people, they start getting a little bit of taste of success. They start seeing those results and they get away from doing the things that got them the results, right? And so it was kind of one of those situations, and I hurt myself because I didn't have parameters around my gift. I also didn't prioritize my family. I went through a season where I was really prioritizing my business and being in the spotlight. And here I am 3 years later. And, really funny, a few weeks ago, I kind of walked through something similar, except I handled the situation a lot differently. I got invited to be one of 5 women to sit at a table. Let's say that. And, when I first got it, I was like the invitation, I was a little taken back and I was a little like, what is this? I was kind of curious, all of that. And I graciously, once I found out what it was, I graciously bowed out. And over the last 3 years, I've gotten so clear on what I want, where I'm going, what I will and won't do, that when an opportunity presented itself to me, I didn't flinch to prioritize myself. And I wish I could go into more detail. I can't right now. But what I could tell you is that 3 years ago, my ego would have allowed me to say yes, knowing I didn't add value to the meeting. And the table that I got invited to sit at, one of 5 women, I literally had no value to offer. It was something I was not passionate about. It was something I had no business being invited to. But, because I have a large platform, because I have a loud mouth, because I've got a lot of charisma, I get invited to things like that. And over the last 3 years, I've done so much growth, like I said, on what I want, what I don't want, what I'm good at, that I was able to identify. Did I want to sit at the table? Absolutely. I love being used. I love feeling important. Okay. I mean, who doesn't as a high achieving person? Like we really do. But I've also valued, I want to play to my strengths. I really do. I'm a strength-based leader. I think that there is so much value to be said in people who can identify their strengths and stay in that lane. And at the end of the day, even if I had a little bit of value to offer this table that I got invited to sit at, it was not for me. And I bowed out graciously. And like I said, 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. My ego would have wanted me to stay there and it just wouldn't have been good. And today I'm able to say no because I understand that value of honesty. And not just with myself, but also with others. And I just want to challenge you today as we're wrapping this thing up. I want to challenge you. How honest are you being with yourself? How honest are you with yourself? How much does your ego guide you instead of your intuition? Are you walking in popularity or purpose? Because there are times where you can't do both. There's times you can't do both. And it's just the way the world works. But you're going to start seeing more success and you are going to start having better opportunities. And I think a lot of times we call it, like in the online space, we call it niching down. Some people say niche, some people say niche. It really doesn't matter. Like I just want you tomato, right? But I do like, I do think it's pronounced niche. But I do like niche because someone said niches to riches or something like that. And I was like, that does make sense. When you really understand who you are and you're able to be honest with yourself, you're able to, instead of trying to be so broad and change the whole world and everybody's life, if you just get really specific on the lives that you're trying to change. And that's me. I'm not here trying to make an impact to every human on the planet. Like if it happens, that's a byproduct. That's amazing. I'm here to help high achieving women develop the belief and the confidence they need to increase their results. I am here to help high achieving women lead themselves better. I am here to help high achieving women understand that there is an absolute powerhouse on the inside of you. You do not have to discover it, baby. You just have to develop it. That's what I'm here to do. And when you're honest about what you are called to do and you say no to the other things, it is going to allow the things that you say yes to thrive so much more. So much more. You are never going to climb new heights if you're not honest with yourself and honest with others. When you say yes to everything and you don't have control over your gifting, you don't have control over your strengths. My God, you don't have control over your calendar. That's a whole nother episode we got to do. Okay. That is going to destroy you. It's going to destroy you. You're going to cap yourself. You're going to rob yourself of the greatest gift that you can give. And that's your own personal growth. It's your own personal growth. I love you guys. I value that you guys tune in. I value that you're always messaging me. And not everybody, but some of you guys are messaging me and just telling me that you got nuggets, you got tips. I'm just going to ask, pay the fee. If this is something that you find valuable, if you got one nugget today, I'm going to ask that you share it with a friend that needs it. Share it with a friend that needs to start being honest with herself. That way she can grow. Can't wait to grow with you guys. Talk to you soon.